Welcome to Relax with Bedtime Stories. My name is Mushroom, and it is an honor to be your guide tonight. This is a space for you to let go, to rest. So take a slow breath and exhale gently. Now let's step through the door together into a story that will soothe your soul and lull you to sleep. Tonight, we'll travel beyond the noise of the day into a world woven with softness, stillness, and light. A place where the moon keeps watch and the stars whisper ancient lullabies. Welcome, dear dreamer. Let the story begin. You find yourself standing at the edge of a path that doesn't quite look real. It's not paved, it's not gravel, it's soft, like earth after a gentle rain, mossy in places, a little sparkly, but not in the glittery way. You're not at a child's birthday party. More like stardust remembered where it came from and decided to settle here, on this gentle trail that winds through a forest where the trees bend just slightly towards you, as if they've been waiting. You begin to walk, slowly, deliberately, each step sending a whisper through your calves, up your thighs, asking your muscles to soften, to stop gripping the day like it still belongs to you. It doesn't. The day is behind you. What's ahead is sleep, and you're walking straight into it. There's a hush in the air, the kind that makes you feel like someone hit pause on the whole world just for you. Even the wind tiptoes. The only and is the occasional creak of tree limbs. Not ominous, more like they're sighing in time with your breath. You pass under an arch of flowering branches that shouldn't be blooming at this hour. Night has long since arrived, and yet tiny blossoms glow with a soft bioluminescence. You reach out to brush one, and it hums. Literally hums. A note just below your hearing range, but you feel it in your chest. Weird. Nice weird. And just like that, your shoulders release. No fanfare, no fireworks, just space. The space that appears when you're not carrying everyone else's emotions around in a sack labeled, "I'll deal with this later." You keep walking, past a hollow tree that might once have hosted a curious badger parliament. Yes, that's a real term for a group of badgers, and yes, you're now picturing them in tiny cloaks arguing about mushroom distribution. You smile. Somewhere behind you, the sound of the world is disappearing. No cars, no emails, just the crunch hush of your steps and the way your breath starts to mimic the rhythm of the forest. In and out, in and out. The light begins to change. Not darker exactly, more like thicker, blue shadows pool like ink at the edges of the trail, and the stars above peek through branches, each one a pinhole into some place else, some place softer. You notice a tree that's grown in a perfect spiral, twisting up like it's trying to swirl into the clouds. Ancient Celts, the leaved spiral trees were bridges to other worlds. Historians still argue whether that idea came from mythology or shroom-induced creativity. Either way, you pause and press your palm to the trunk. It's warm, warmer than it should be, and somehow you feel seen. The weight in your knees gone, that background buzz in your brain lowered to a gentle purr. You yawn, not because you're bored, because your body is finally catching up with your spirit, tired but safe. As you continue walking, the trail dips slightly downward. You pass through an arch made entirely of hanging vines and wild lamb. The scent pulls you in like a lullaby. You remember something someone once told you. Sleep is not the opposite of waking. It's the place you go to return to yourself. Deep. Probably embroidered on a very expensive pillow somewhere. Your fingers trail through tall grass, and the blades respond like tuning forks, humming with something just outside your understanding. One of them hums the opening note to a lullaby your grandmother used to sing. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the forest remembers, and you're not just walking anymore. You're arriving. There's a clearing up ahead. Moonlight falls like liquid silver over a flat stone in the center. The stone looks ancient, but not cold. It looks like it wants you to sit on it. And when you do, oh, your spine melts like butter on warm toast. You lie back, look up. The stars begin to shimmer and rearrange, forming constellations that don't belong to this world. One looks suspiciously like a coffee cup. You wonder if the gods get espresso breaks. From here everything slows. Your breath, your thoughts, even the pull of gravity feels like it's trying to tuck you in. Somewhere to your left, you hear a stream trickling through the underbrush. The sound wraps around your ankles, climbs your spine, settles at the base of your skull like a soft hand saying, "Shh, you're all right." And you are. You're more than all right. Did you know the Romans believed dreams were messages from the gods? That one senator claimed a lion spoke to him in a dream, urging him to vote against a new tax law. Historians still debate whether he was lying or just very allergic to lions. You chuckle. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're already halfway between this world and the next. Above you, a soft fluttering, wings, not birds, something quieter, almost like pages turning. The leaves, the wind, or the ancient forest itself flipping through your memories like a bedtime story. You close your eyes. The darkness behind your eyelids is velvet, not scary, not empty, just full of possibilities. Each breath is slower, deeper. Your limbs feel heavier now, in the best possible way. like the earth is hugging you back. There's one more path ahead, not a trail, more like a suggestion, and it calls to something deep inside you, something older than fear, older than time. You rise from the stone, barely remembering doing so, and follow the light. This time, you don't walk, you float, just a few inches, just enough to feel like the rules here are optional. The forest thickens again, but not in a scary fairy tale danger way, in a rich, shadowy, womb-like way, like the trees have closed around you to keep the rest of the world out. You keep going, and with every step, your thoughts quiet further. That meeting tomorrow, irrelevant. That awkward thing you said 3 years ago, the moss ate it. Gone. You are simply here, moving deeper into the land of dream. And somewhere in the distance, just barely, you hear a bell, low, resonant, calling you home, calling you deeper. Let's follow it together. The bell fades, but the echo lingers in your bones, like a memory you didn't know you had. It tugs you forward, softly, like a ribbon around your wrist, and the trail shifts beneath you. No longer mossy, now smooth, stone maybe, but not cold, not the kind of stone that bites your bare feet or reminds you of dentist offices. This stone feels old, yes, but kind. It has known footsteps for centuries, maybe millennia. It remembers everyone who has passed this way and offers you the same quiet blessing. The trees begin to part as though they too are honoring the moment. You've arrived somewhere sacred, not flashy sacred. There's no dramatic choir music, just a hush that deepens with every breath, like the world is holding its breath too. Before you stands a ruin, not a ruin in despair, but one in deep, peaceful sleep. Columns wrapped in ivy, archways still stain, though their roofs have long given way to starlight. And in the centre, a wide circle of stones, forming a kind of open-air sanctuary. You step in, no hesitation. The silence here doesn't ask questions, it simply receives. There's a mosaic underfoot, worn but still visible, blues and golds, waves and spirals, symbols of water, air, memory. At least that's what your dreaming mind decides. Historians still argue whether these patterns had real religious significance or if someone just really liked spirals. At the center of the sanctuary is a raised stone basin, and from it something astonishing. Mist, not steam, not smoke. Mist, cool and shimmering like breath in winter air. Except it isn't cold, it pulses with light, not bright, not overwhelming, just rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the earth slowed down to lullaby speed. You reach out and dip your fingers into the mist. It curls around them, welcoming, and with it comes memory. Not specific ones, no awkward middle school dars, enses or overdue bills. Just the feeling of being known, of being a child again, cared for, safe. You remember what it's like to trust the world, not because it earned it, but because your heart hadn't learned not to yet. You sit on the stone rim, letting your legs dangle, and there's that hush again. It doesn't feel empty. It feels full of voices not speaking aloud, full of wisdom not given in words. You notice faint markings on the stone wall behind the basin. Handprints, dozens of them, some large, some small, pressed into the soft clay before it hardened under moonlight centuries ago. You place your hand against one. It fits, almost eerily, and when you touch it, a scene appears, not in your eyes but somewhere behind them. An ancient woman, seated just where you are now, sings in a tongue you don't understand, but somehow feel. She's weaving a dream for her people, calling down protection and rest and sacred forgetting. And though no one alive today knows her name, the stone remembers. And now, so dear. Ooh! It's said in some old tribal traditions, you could borrow a dream from someone long gone, just for the night, to heal, to learn, to rest. A sort of ancestral Netflix, but better curated. You smile. A little tear slips out. Not because you're sad, because you forgot how good it feels to be held by something greater than your own thoughts. You lie back again, letting your body rest against the warm stone. The basin's mist creeps gently down toward you. Not menacing, not fast. It brushes your cheek, your neck, your chest. And as it does, you feel yourself start to drift, not out of yourself, but deeper in. The sky above ripples. No, really, like a pond that someone just tossed a thought into. The stars rearrange again. You see a bear, a harp, and, somehow, a perfectly roasted marshmallow. You wonder if this is the galaxy's way of telling you to chill. Yes, universe, message received. The columns around the sanctuary cast long, moonlit shadows. One of them looks like it's dancing. But when you squint, it's not the shadow. It's a figure, a gentle one, not frightening. They stand with their back turned, gazing at the mist like they're waiting for someone. You. But instead of speaking, they raise a hand and point beyond the sanctuary, towards a glowing stairway you hadn't noticed before. Not a staircase in the normal sense, more like a trail of floating stones, each hovering just inches above the ground. Inviting, impossible, delightfully dream logic. You rise. Your body is light, not empty, just refined. Like all the noise and static has been wrung out of your muscles and left behind on the stone seat. The figure nods once, slowly, and fades. Not like a ghost, like mist returning to air. You step onto the first stone, It holds your weight, firm and soft all at once. You continue up. Each step carries you higher, not just in space but in sensation, as if you're ascending through layers of your own consciousness. Dreams you forgot rise to the surface, like the time you flew through your childhood neighborhood with jelly wings. Or that recurring dream where your teeth are fine, but your socks keep falling off. That one still doesn't make sense. By the 10th step, you're above the tree line. The sanctuary below glows gently, like a lantern in a sea of dark velvet. You are no longer tethered to worries. Even your name feels like a coat you took off and folded on the bench somewhere. At the top of the stairs, a circular landing made of translucent crystal. In the center is a cushion. Just a cushion. Plump, inviting, completely out of place and somehow exactly what you need. You sit. The cushion adjusts like it knows your spine personally. Your breath deepens. Suddenly, a memory rises. The first time you fell asleep in the back seat of a car, head tilted awkwardly, the muffled hum of the highway soothing you into a puddle of dreams. The sanctuary echoes that feeling now, but gentler, timeless, no seatbelt required. Off in the distance, a soft bell again. Same tone, same rhythm, but slower now. Calling you not just to sleep, but to dream. A comet streaks across the sky, not fast, graceful, almost polite, and you swear it winks at you. Beneath you, the stones begin to gently lower, each one slowly, like an elevator designed by monks. You descend, slowly, gently, back toward the forest floor. But not the place you left. Somewhere new, somewhere waiting. Your feet settle onto soft earth again. Damp, but not wet. Like soil that has just been kissed by morning dew, though no morning is near. This is a place that lives in between time zones. You wiggle your toes and feel warmth rising from below, like the ground itself is exhaling beneath you. Ahead, a path spirals downward, not ominous or steep, just gently coaxing you lower, inviting you into its secret. It's lined with stones so smooth they could have been polished by centuries of wind, or maybe by the gentle hands of forgotten dreamers. With each step, the air changes, thicker, cooler. There's a scent, ocean salt and lavender, and something older. The smell of places that no longer exist and yet live on in you. You follow the path as it curves into a hollow. At the center, a still, round lake glows with a soft light from beneath its surface. Muddy white, not gold, slow, small. More like the color of moonlight soaked into milk. You stand at the edge, and the lake mirrors you, whispered. But not your outside. No, this lake reflects what you've buried. Not in a judgmental therapy session way, more like, hey, here's that childhood joy you forgot you still carry. Here's the grief you were too strong to feel. Here's the wonder that didn't leave you. It just curled up for a nap. meditation and relaxation. You kneel, your hands skimming the surface. No ripples, the water accepts you. You step in, one foot, then the other, and suddenly you're not cold, you're not wet, you're submerged in light. Warm, enveloping, ancient. The descent is slow, peaceful. You float downward through layers of yourself, the version of you that laughed too loud in 3rd grade, the one who apologized for things that weren't your fault, the one who once dreamed of living in a lighthouse and talking to whales. Okay, that one might have been last week. The lake holds them all. And it doesn't try to fix them. It just lets them exist, together, in you. Far below, you see shapes moving, not threatening, gentle. They shimmer like memories not quite formed. A fox with golden fur, a hand reaching toward a starlit sky, your childhood bedroom with the nightlights still glowing, a paper boat floating endlessly in a circle. The ancient Greeks believed sleep and death were brothers, Hypnos and Thanatos. But what they didn't say was that dreams were the secret sister, unseen, weaving all the stories you couldn't say aloud. Historians still argue whether dreams were viewed as divine prophecy or just the brain sweeping its metaphorical flaw. Either way, right now you're floating in a place where truth and metaphor hold hands like childhood friends, rediscovering each other. You reach the bottom of the lake, or rather it rises up to meet you. The surface above now looks like a sheet of silver glass far away, barely pulsing. Around you, bioluminescent plants sway like dancers, each glowing softly in time with your breath. And in front of you, carved into a smooth, glowing stone, a door. A door at the bottom of a lake. Of course, dream logic. You don't question it. You reach for the handle and push. Inside a room, circular, walls made of pale coral and mother of pearl. In the center, a platform of sand, soft and warm. You lie down, the sand cradling you like an old friend. Above, the ceiling is made of shifting water. Not a ceiling at all, just a liquid sky held in place by memory and grace. You watch shapes swim by, an owl with stars for eyes, a carousel horse made of wind, a letter you never sent floating gently in a bottle. From somewhere beyond, a voice, not with words but feeling, asks gently, "What do you wish to let go of?" The answer rises before you even think, that knot in your chest, the guilt you carry like a passport, the need to hold it all together for everyone. You breathe in, hold it, breathe out. The weight slips off your chest and melts into the sand beneath you. No struggle, no drama. Just release. There's a warmth at your feet now. It spreads up through your legs, like the lake itself is wrapping you in comfort. You don't move. You don't need to. Everything is quiet. You blink slowly and suddenly you're sitting on a swing. Not just any swing, your swing. From the yard when you were 5, the one your dad hung too low and your mum complained about. It creaks with the same sound, and in the air the smell of cut grass, cotton candy, and possibility. You don't swing high, just a gentle rock, the kind that says, you made it, you're safe, you're still in there. Beneath your feet, the lake has disappeared. You're in a wide open field now. The stars are closer. They pulse softly, like lullabies written in light. And the sky? It's folded inward, like a dome of dreams, protecting everything you've just remembered. You lie back in the grass, let the earth hold you again. A dandelion seed floats past your nose. You make a wish without realizing. No words, just a hope, soft and sacred. You turn your head. You dangle on. You a small creature, Jan strand, glowing faintly. It looks like a cross between a raccoon and a cloud. Its soul pats your hand once, just once, then vanishes. You smile. This world is weird and perfect. A final whisper on the wind. You've remembered enough. Rest now. You don't argue. You don't analyze. You just breathe and let go. You are lying in the field still, eyes closed now, but you know the stars are above you, watching without judgment, glowing without agenda. They've done this for millennia. They'll do it long after we're gone. It's comforting in that big cosmic hug sort of way. You feel your breath drift further from the chest and more from the belly now, slower, deeper, as if even your lungs are part of the dream. And then, the grass begins to change. You don't move, but you feel it. A shimmer, a warmth, like the dream is tilting you gently toward a new story. You open your eyes to find yourself no longer in a field, but a garden. Not a wild, overgrown garden like some forgotten backyard. No, this one is alive, not just blooming, aware. The flowers glow with soft hues that don't exist in waking life. Twilight blue, candlelight peach, and one that looks suspiciously like the color of a lullaby. You reach out, brush your fingers along the petals of one bloom, and it giggles. That's right, the flower giggles. Like a toddler who just discovered ticklish socks. You laugh, quietly, not startled, not scared. It's that dream logic again. Things don't need to make sense here to be right. The air is thick with scent, not perfume, not chemicals, real, old, earthy sweetness. Jasmine, fresh figs, maybe even that sugar-dusted scent of carnival popcorn. The memories that arise aren't random, they're yours. Each scent pulling up a buried joy you didn't know you missed. At the edge of the garden stands a tree, tall, gnarled, ageless. Its trunk is covered in carvings, names, symbols, initials you vaguely recognize, and one that stops you cold. Your name, etched carefully, lovingly. Not by your own hand. This garden remembers you. It always has. You sit beneath the tree, Its branches curve above you like sheltering arms, and in this space, this impossibly still moment, you begin to understand something without needing words. You are not broken. You never were. In a forgotten pocket of Eastern Europe, there's an old legend about gardens like this, ones that grow only where love has pooled in the soil, places that bloom not from sunlight, but from the memories of being truly seen. Historians can't decide if the tale came from wartime trauma or just really romantic farmers, but you like it either way. The ground beneath you pulses lightly, and then you feel it. Footsteps, soft ones. You look up and see someone walking towards you, but their face is your own. Not you now, not even you as a child, a different version, a peaceful one. Hair unbothered, eyes unburdened, carrying nothing but presence. They sit beside you, say nothing, just smile, and offer you something in their palm, a seed, plain, unremarkable, until it pulses, just once, with light. You take it, and when you do, an entire memory unfolds in your chest like a blooming flower. The first time you felt wonder, real wonder, not excitement, not happiness, awe. You remember it now, the shape of the clouds, the exact sound of the wind, the way your breath caught in your throat, not from fear but beauty. That's what the garden grows on. That's what the seed contains. The other you leans in, whispers, not into your ear, but straight into the part of your mind that never sleeps. They say, this is a part you left behind. It waited for you. And then they dissolve, not vanish, dissolve into stardust, into warmth, into you. You plant the seed, not because someone told you to, because you want to, because something in you understands that rest is not just about letting go, it's about receiving too. The soil welcomes it. A soft breath of wind kisses your cheek like a thank you, and a new vine begins to grow from the spot, quick, elegant, golden. It winds up the tree, and from it blooms a flower with petals shaped like hearts, clocks, and feathers. You don't know what that means, but it feels right. You stand again. The garden stretches before you, glowing softly in every direction. But one path pulses faintly with a light you can't ignore, a path just for you. As you walk it, you notice stones along the trail etched with tiny symbols, a spiral, a compass, a half-eaten croissant. Okay, that last one might have been a dream snack, but it still looks sacred. The path bends toward a wooden gate. No latch, no hinges. It just swings open when you arrive. And behind it, a field of stars, not in the sky, on the ground. Tiny constellations scattered in soft moss, blinking lazily, like they have all the time in the world. And why wouldn't they? Time doesn't chase you here. It walks beside you, hands in its pockets, humming something you once heard in a lullaby. The stars wink up at you. You wink back. Then above, another shift. The garden thins into mist. The mist opens into sky, and you begin to rise. Not float, not fly, just lift. Like gravity has remembered it doesn't always have to be in charge. Higher, higher, through clouds shaped like old dreams, past air that smells like your favorite book's pages, upward toward the place where sleep becomes something even deeper. As the world dissolves into light and quiet, you take one last glance over your shoulder. The garden is still there, still glowing, still remembering, and it always will, even after you wake. Up and up you drift, though that word doesn't quite do it justice anymore. You're not really drifting like a feather. You're being drawn, gently, purposefully, like light drawn toward dawn. Above you, the sky has darkened, not into blackness, but into something richer, indigo laced with silver, deep blue streaked with memory. Clouds move like slow thoughts across a sleeping mind. There's no wind, no rush, only stillness. And then you see it. Far above, carved into the night sky like it's always been there, a temple. Not made of stone, not really made of anything, but present, solid in the way that only dreams can be. Its steps seem to descend from the stars themselves, and each one glows like moonlight caught in crystal. You feel no hesitation. You're not tired. You're not afraid. You are ready. The first step meets your foot like an old friend. Not cold, not warm, knowing. And as you ascend, the world around you grows quieter. Quieter than silence, quieter than your thoughts. The kind of quiet that only exists between heartbeats or in the space between stars. At the top, a threshold, a simple doorway of light. You pass through it and everything slows. You are inside a vast chamber, open on all sides to the cosmos. No walls, no ceiling, only towering columns that stretch forever upward, like they're holding up sleep itself. In the center of the temple is a pool, clearer than water, deeper than thought. It reflects not your face, but your dream self, the you that has always been watching, the one who doesn't flinch, the one who understands the language of clouds and the weight of silence. You kneel beside the pool. It's not sacred in the usual sense. There are no hymns, no incense, just truth and peace. You touch the surface. It accepts your hand as if it had been waiting, and in a rush, soft, quiet, total, you remember all the versions of you, not as separate, not as stories to shelve, but as layers, petals, parts of a single blooming thing. The pool glows in response, and from the edge, a soft breeze begins to rise. You follow it through another arch of starlight. Here, in the inner sanctum, lie the sleeping ones. Not people, not souls, ideas, possibilities. They rest like curled cats in nests of silk and memory. You walk among them. Some stir at your presence. One lifts its head, an idea shaped like a song you haven't written yet. Another blinks slowly, a feeling you've tried to describe your whole life, but they don't speak. They don't need to. They trust you now, because you've made it this far. There's a stone bench just ahead, carved with constellations. You sit, and instantly, your breath drops lower in your belly. You're not falling asleep anymore. You're becoming sleep. Somewhere far below, the world turns. Phones buzz, laptops whir, but here, none of that follows. Here, you're allowed to be, fully, sweetly, completely. Did you know some indigenous cultures believed the stars were the campfires of their ancestors, scattered across the sky to watch over them at night? First wind, those glowing dots weren't just balls of gas, but souls resting between journeys. Historians still debate whether that belief was metaphor or memory. But right now, you believe it. You lean back, the bench warms to your shape, the stars above pulse gently, and from the sky, a soft curtain of light begins to fall, like aurora threads woven by the hands of some old sleepy god. The temple begins to fade, not disappear, not crumble, just blur, dissolve into your skin. It's in you now. You've brought it with you. Your body is weightless. Your limbs no longer belong to gravity. Even your thoughts begin to stretch and yawn and curl up into small, safe bundles. There's a final note, a chime so soft it feels like memory instead of sound. And as it rings, the stars above shift one last time into a shape you recognize, a door. You walk toward it, no hurry, no fear. You pass through it, and suddenly you're nowhere, and everywhere, and finally, completely, peacefully, asleep. Now everything softens. The temple, the lake, the garden, they all fade into a warm, quiet hum, tucked deep in the folds of your dreaming mind. No sharp edges remain, no need to hold on. Your breath becomes feather light, your heart beats slow, steady, the kind of rhythm that invites every cell in your body to rest, to melt into stillness, to be completely, beautifully at peace. All the paths you've walked tonight, the forest trail, the ruins, the water, the stars, they're still with you, gently rearranging into the landscape of your dreams. They'll wait there. Patience, kind, so that next time you close your eyes, they'll be ready again, familiar as an old friend's hug. And now you drift, past thought, past memory, past even dreaming, into that sweet, endless, velvet space, where time has no voice and only your breath matters. You are safe. You are loved. You are home. Good night, my friend. Sleep well.